In 70 years of its relentless existence, Formula One has visited the circuits of the world. Many have proved to be breathtaking, awe-inspiring and mesmerising, catalysing memorable and legendary races, whilst others proved to be repellent and met with revulsion from fans. But in this video I will pick out my personal favourites and carve my list of my 5 favourite Formula One tracks. However, whilst devising this list I figured out a problem. As I only started watching the sport I so dearly love in 2013, I'm inevitably going to have more of a bias towards more recent Formula One tracks. Because I am more familiar in seeing Formula One cars raging and racing around circuits such as Sakhir, Shanghai, Baku and the modern day Hockenheimring, so therefore they would have more of a place in my heart, as opposed to circuits such as Brands Hatch and Estoril. So for that reason, any Formula One circuit that hasn't featured on the F1 calendar during the course of the 21st century will not make this list. So blistering, pulsating, but inherently dangerous circuits such as Pescara, the longest Formula One track in history, and the revered Nordschleife, nicknamed the Green Hell by Sir Jackie Stewart, will not feature. But just very quickly guys, I want to let you know that I am now competing in a racing league on F1 2019. And I would like you to go and check out their channels on both YouTube and Twitch. Please give these the support that they deserve because they work so tirelessly to get multiple leagues going. I am competing in the Thursday league, so I believe if you go on Twitch on Thursday evening about 7 o'clock, you will be seeing me racing. But yeah, just a massive shout out to these guys because they just work so hard to get us racing, and it's an utter joy to compete in it. And I'll try to leave a link down in the description. At number 5, I have the Autodromo Carlos Pache, otherwise known as Interlagos. This track is home to the Brazilian Grand Prix, and my word, can it conjure up such drama, tension and excitement. Okay, from a driving perspective, it isn't the most thrilling track to drive on, and one may argue it's not as mighty as the old Interlagos circuit, but from a racing perspective, my word, does it deliver. Most of the overtaking takes place in sectors 1 and 3. The pretty long start-finish straight leads the drivers on to the Senna S's, and then of course the Retroposta between the Curva do Sol and Esquido de Lago is where also some of the overtaking happens. But to overtake around Interlagos, you need to be decisive and aggressive. And although the track does lack an ultra fast corner, turns 6 and 7 can certainly bite, and can bite world champions, as Michael Schumacher learned in 2004 and Lewis Hamilton learnt in 2017. The middle sector consists of technical corners, but that only adds to the blistering ride that an Interlagos lap presents. Plus the track's rather unique and interesting weather behaviour causes more than a few rain-affected racing and certainly spices up the action. Some of Interlagos's most memorable moments has to be the dumbfounding 2003 race, the exhilarating 2012 finale, and the heartbreaking 2008 finale for Felipe Massa, and the elation for Lewis Hamilton after that race, passing Timo Glock on the last corner of the last lap to win his maiden World Championship. And even go back to the 80s and 90s after Ayrton Senna's success at the Brazilian Grand Prix, winning twice at the circuit in 91 and 93, and his bravado, his charisma certainly made a mark on this Grand Prix and of course in all of motor racing. Perhaps surprisingly, only in 4th place I have Spa, but for sure this is certainly one of the most fabled mileage of track in the whole entire world. It's ultra fast, it's breathtaking, it's exhilarating, and like Interlagos, the weather can certainly spice up the action even more. It is an utterly glorious sight to see F1 cars dazzle through fearsome corners such as Eau Rouge and Radion, and rage onto the Kemmel Straight where you can get some magnificent shots. There is also the fantastic Pouhon and Blanchimont corners. And despite the challenge of Spa not being as great as before, due to the improvements, of course, of speed and aero in modern day F1 cars, the circuit certainly conducts gripping speed, commitment, sights and action. A phenomenal history with its place in the annals of Formula 1 certainly assured. I wasn't alive when the race unfolded, but the 1998 Belgian Grand Prix is inarguably a classic, and there are many more to choose from this legendary circuit. At number 3, I have the Temple of Speed's Monza. Its prodigious history and its glorious character makes this circuit stand out from so many others on the planet and makes it a must-watch for Formula 1 and motorsport fans. Speed comes in an abundance at Monza, seeing drivers and cars whiz around the track and dancing through every corner they turn. Motor racing is definitely an art at this Grand Prix. It takes intense commitment and magic to master this wonderful track. Like Interlagos, like Spa, and perhaps like the two tracks coming up, the Temple of Speed has changed and is ostensibly not as fearsome as it was before, but it is still a force of nature. Overtaking comes at a premium, with bravery and instinct being rewarded. The first two chicanes, Curva Grande, the two Lesmos, the Ascari chicane, and of course Parabolica. These corners are ingrained into motorsport history, with overtaking coming at each and every one of them. The two most recent Italian Grand Prix were rapturous ones, with the top 3 drivers being greeted with the best podium in motorsport. I know for sure this will come across as a surprising pick, but number 2, I have the Red Bull Ring. Seeing these drivers on the limit around this track is such a mesmerising sight to behold. With high speeds and long straights, overtaking is certainly possible, setting up some fantastic and phenomenal races, like the 2018 and 2019 Grand Prix, with hard-fought battles in both. Another thing I love about this circuit is the fact that it bites. If you run wide, if you get a bit of understeer or a bit of oversteer, that could be your lap ruined, and it's really good to see that this track tests track limits. Drivers can push, but they have to be careful because the track will win out. I would say nerve is tested and overambition is punished, as the track limits and the curbs are waiting for you. I am just in awe of the Red Bull Ring. It has sweeping, technical and challenging corners for the drivers to overcome, and it also presents opportunities for great racing. Now, I am not saying this because I am British, but my favourite Formula 1 track has to be Silverstone. If you want a track where jaw-dropping commitment is required, speed is at a palpitating level, wheel-to-wheel action is at the highest quality, and a sequence of flowing, astounding but iconic corners are arranged into one track, then Silverstone, in my opinion, wins out. There are so many iconic corners on this track: Abbey, Brooklands, Luffield, Woodcote, Copse, Maggots, Beckett's Chapel, Stowe, Vale Club, and every configuration of the Silverstone circuit that has been on the Formula 1 calendar have all been awe-inspiring. Year after year, the racing is supreme, the excitement is ever present, with the British crowd out in full force for a memorable race weekend at a track which hosted F1's first ever World Championship race. So there you go, guys. Silverstone is my favourite Formula 1 track. Please let me know your favourite F1 tracks down in the comments. I'll be interested in seeing them. Like I said earlier, please check out Formula Fun Racing on Twitch and YouTube. And finally, please drop a like, comment down below and subscribe to the F1 Tube YouTube channel for more F1 content. But until next time, guys, see you later.